Welcome to another interesting section of this particular course. We are going to talk about the coverage driven development CDD, and we are going to also set up the testing environments. So what is CDD? So basically it is a kind of approach to ensure the stability of your application. What I mean by that is, let's suppose you are introducing a new feature or new bugs, a new bug fixes in your code, and you want to make sure that the previous features are not breaking. Then this CDD approach comes very handy. What happens is that whenever you create a new feature, you create a new pull request for that particular feature. Pull requests are simply the diff between the master branch and the diff between your current branch. Okay, and pull request creates an environment where other software engineers of your company can review your code and add some comments to improve it. Okay, so whenever you create a pull request, in CDD approach, we create some test runners, some actions, some pipelines which run against your code, and they check that whether any test failed or not, and if there is enough coverage for the code you have just written. Okay, this is the major CDD setup. So we are going to perform the CDD via two packages. The first package we are going to use is Jest, and another is React Testing Library. Okay, in short we can call this as RTL. Okay, so RTL also stands for right to left, but don't confuse with that. Okay, for us RTL means React Testing Library, CDD means coverage driven development. Okay, and Jest is the framework. So what is the difference between Jest and React Testing Library? So Jest basically is a framework which provides us the environment to execute test. That's it. Okay, it can also generate reports, scan through each files, and test each components. What React Testing Library does is that it simulates the React virtual DOM environment, and it helps us test React applications. Okay, so Jest is a suite which gives you the ground to execute test, and RTL is a library which helps us test React components, and it has all virtual environment of React. Okay, so combine these two, we can seamlessly test our applications. Okay, so Jest is nothing, just a framework to provide some playground environment and to test specific life cycles of a component, props and other stuff. We have RTL for that. So how to set up this stuff over here? It is really very simple. Okay, so let me just grab the commands. So let me just create one file for you guys, just in case you want to access it. Where shall I write? So let me just create a file, commands.txt. okay, and let me just paste this command over here. Okay, so this is the command to set up the testing library. What are the things we are installing? We are installing Jest DOM, React Testing Library, user events, Jest environment JS DOM, and TypeScript Jest. Okay, TypeScript Jest, T was missing. Yep, so these are all the commands, and we have to just perform a yarn add over here. Okay, so yarn add whatever these parts and hit enter. So this will install all the packages that we need. Okay, let's wait it for it to install, and let's fast forward. All right, so we have got the things for us. Awesome. Okay, so we have got this thing for us, the Jest commands and everything. Now let us first create a test file and see if it is working or not. Okay, in the SRC app we have to create our test file, but before that, if we go to scripts, we have to write our command to execute the test. So if I write test, okay, yarn test, it has to run Jest, or maybe I can just grab the commands from other sources and write it over here. Yeah, so the test command is going to perform a jest with the coverage will create a coverage report, and then there's a test watch which is going to watch the changes live and execute the test on the fly. Okay, most frequently we will be using this test command only, and to see if it is working I have to write yarn test, okay, and see if it is working. So no test found, that is why it was giving this, okay, to us. All right, now we also have to configure our jest environment. Okay, so how can we do that? Because obviously it scanned 72 files, okay, and there has to be some pattern as well. So we have to first create a file. We will call this as jest.config.js, okay, jest config.js file, and just copy paste whatever I have written over here. So what this is doing is it is creating a jest config for us, okay, and it is having some coverage and threshold which I exactly wanted to share. Okay, so what is a coverage in a jest environment or a test file? So for example, if you have a component, okay, if you have a component containing 10 lines and your test is only covering 3 lines, then the coverage of your component is 30%. Okay, so there are 10 lines, your test is covering 3 lines only, so your coverage is 30%. But as a project owner, I want my developers, I want my engineers to at least have, let's say, 100% coverage, maybe, or at least 80% coverage. Okay, so that guardrails we can set via the coverage threshold command, and we can say that, okay, in globally all branches, all functions, all lines, all statement should be 100% for now, but we are going to change this number later. Okay, so we have set this up. We just have to hit save. Okay, and we also need one file, okay, jest setup.js. So we are going to create this file, jest setup.js, and what this file is going to contain, it is only going to import the jest DOM stubs. Okay, nothing special. By the time we have set up our jest things over here, now if I run the command, do we see any difference? Yeah, so no difference. No tests were found. But if I just create a test for my silly component, okay, so in the src, let's create one silly component and see how that is working. So in src, new folder, components, okay, inside this component, which component shall we create first? Maybe we can create a button. So button component, inside button component I create one file, index.tsx, and one file called as button.tsx, and a new file called button.test.tsx. okay, in the button.tsx file, so this is a component. Component, everything as I said is inside app directory. Okay, okay, we are in app directory. Not, we have to move this to src. No, my friend, this has to be in src. Wait, let us cut this, paste. Yeah, and this component folder is in src, and button is going to be in components. Alright, so inside components we have, so this is a directory, app, we'll leave app as it is. Outside app we have components, button, we have a button test, and now it's the time to use RAFCE. So exclamation mark RAFCE. We got the component. Oh, we didn't needed that exclamation mark, sorry for that. we have this button, we have this div, and yeah, it has type any. That I think this should be fine. And we can write export const button. We can get rid of this. JSX has implicitly has type any because no interface exists. Okay. So if I just create, let's check this error. It is saying that it has no interface. So we can create a interface button props. Okay. And I can just say props, button props. Okay, so this didn't work. Let us check this error on Google. So why this is happening? Okay, it is saying that if we reload, then this error would be gone. Okay, so Control Shift P. No, it is. Then type reload window. Okay. Okay. Is the error gone? No, this is not gone. Are we missing any types? 1 second. Types React. We have 18 React DOM. Okay, let's just ignore this error for now. I don't know why this is throwing. So in this button props, okay, so yeah, so we have this button props, and let us extract the props from it, and I can say that I have a on click functionality. Okay, and let us first add a button. Okay, and I pass the on click to this button, and we want to pass on click to this prop. So this is going to be a function. Okay, so we have this basic button. Now inside the test file, okay, we have to write some tests. So I have already written some tests. Okay, let me just copy and grab these parts. So it is saying that cannot find module React testing library and button from the index. So why? Because we have not exported the button or from over here. So I am going to index.file and I'm going to perform import button. And why this is so small? It has to be capital. Na? This is button from /button. Okay, this is going to be export button. So why I'm doing this pattern over here, my friend? Can you understand it? So in this component button test tsx, button tss and index. So if you have all the JSX in the index file, then on the file explorer over here on the tabs, you will see all index files only. Okay, but if you see something like this, then you'll see okay, I can see a button.tsx file, then I'm in my button component. Now if you want to switch to another component and let there be any index file, then you'll get confused which tab is which one. So to avoid that complexity, what I have done is, first of all, I have created a basic component file. Then I created an index file that becomes a common exporter from this buttons component. Okay, that is the only stuff I am doing. So coming back to this part, button.tsx. So we have created this button component, and I'm don't know why this error is still here. It is irritating me. But coming back to this part, I have grabbed the button, and it is saying that property on click is missing on the type but required in button props. So I'll just say on click, and I'll just pass a empty function over here. Let us clear everything and let us perform a yarn test. So what happened over here? Test failed. Why? Because should render button another to find element by ID. Yeah. So we have not given this test ID to the buttons. So data test ID. Okay. Let us clear this again and let us run yarn test. Okay, so the test passed with some errors. I exactly don't know why this is giving errors, but let us ignore that. So we were able to pass this test, right? So what did we just do in the test? I'll go deep dive into the test, but right now my focus is establishing the pipeline. So I'll just quickly tell you that we have these, so we have these tests over here written. So button test, and there was a test where I'm saying that should render the button. Okay, then we rendered the button, we passed the props, and we are checking that if this button get by test ID. Okay, so we are finding the button by a test ID, button test. If this button exists, then expect this element to be truthy. Okay, this is the basic test we are doing, and it's okay if you're not able to understand a test right now, because when I'll start creating real components, okay, then we will deep dive into each and every part of this, okay, part of Jest and React testing library as to what describe is, what is test, what is render, screen, and other stuff. Okay, so now somehow I just want to fail this coverage. Okay, I just want to fail this coverage. How can we do this? We can do this by making this prop optional. Okay, making this prop optional, and if I say if not on click, then return so return this, and just have my on click handler, cons handler equals to console.log. Okay, this is my handler like this. Now if I clear the screen and run the test, what is the coverage which I am getting now? So my coverage now failed to 85%. Okay, why this failed to 85%? See, I written a case that if the on click is missing, then we have to render this part. Okay, if we have to render this part, then it is going to have a separate handler. Makes sense. So in the test, when we are rendering the component button, we are passing the on click. So this condition is never going to checked. Okay, and so the coverage of this function will be missed. Making sense? So you can see that in the button.tsx file, line number 7 was not covered. So line number 7 is our handler function. This was not covered. That is why the coverage fell to 85% and our report failed. So what I'll do is, so first of all, I'll create a branch. So you can create a branch from here. Okay, just click on this, create new branch, and I say just setup. Okay, so okay, let me think twice on this. So let us first of all create a healthy PR for this. Okay, I'll just copy everything and I'll just undo it, whatever I have done just now. Okay, so let's get back the health of the test to 100. Yeah, so this is 100. Now what I'll do is I'll just push everything on the master because this setup is containing our jest environments. Okay, so first of all I'll just add my changes and I'll say add test environment. Okay, env commit, and I just push my changes. Okay, if we head over to our application and we refresh. Alright, so we have got our test env commit over here. Now we are going to create an action that is going to check the coverage of the test files. So head over to actions on the PR, and this will say that yeah, so let us create a node package. So where is that? So continuous integration node.js configure. Something went wrong. Let's refresh. Yeah, so something is wrong. Why is it wrong? Yeah, okay, now it's working. So over here you can see that we have this basic stuff being created for us. Okay, so what you can do is, first of all, you can just commit the changes, and instead of making this as a node.js file, we will call this as test runner.js.yaml file. So I'll just commit my changes. Okay, this YAML file just got created, and I just have to sync my branch with the master, and I will have my so in the .github repo you can have the runners file. This YAML file acts as a GitHub action runner. Okay, this runner file would be running to test our pull request. So let us just quickly go through it and set up. So this test would run. What would be the name of this action? It would be just runner. This is going to run on branches whenever there is a push to master branch, whenever there is a pull request created on master branch. Okay, this is going to be the Ubuntu latest machine that is going to perform the action. And metrics, the node.js version is going to be 20.x. Okay, and one more thing, the node version on my system is 20.11.0. so I forgot to state this in the starting of the video when we were setting. So make sure that your version is 20.11.0. all right, so 20.x, and this is going to check out to our like code base. All right, just remove this cache npm because we are going to run yarn, and just perform a yarn install, and then remove this part and just perform a yarn test. Okay, now these run commands, what we are saying that, okay, whenever you are running, what commands you have to execute. So as we have seen that on the local terminal, we first have to install the dependencies of the application, and then we run a test command. Okay, so these are the two commands that the runner is going to run, and we save this. We go to the changes, we add to the commit, and we say change YAML config, commit this change, and just hit it to the branch. Okay, and obviously now what we have to do is we have to create a new pull request. Okay, a evil pull request which we will not run, which we will not merge actually. Sorry about that. So what we have to do is, first of all, I will create a new branch. Create new branch. I will call this as evil branch. Okay, hit enter. You are on the evil branch, and let me just redo the stuff that caused the automation failures. Okay, now if I run yarn test, the coverage would be failing. Okay, so let us just push this on my evil branch. I will call this as evil commit. Okay, and I just commit it and I just hit like this. Now it will create a pull request on my system. Okay, so if I go to Next.js Yatra clone, evil branch had been pushed. Now I have to create a pull request. So just click on this, click on master, click on the pull request, and can we see that runner running on this? Yeah, we can see this, it is running. But I can still see that this branch is mergeable. This branch is mergeable. My agenda was that even if the test would fail, this branch should not be mergeable. But this is defying the purpose. This is because we have not set up the branch protection rules. Okay, so let us check this runner. Okay, this runner has been completed and let us see the outputs. Yarn test, and it says that coverage threshold for statements 100% not met. Okay, this test was able to run, but the branch is still mergeable. We have to prevent that. So to do that, what you have to do is go to settings, then go to branches, add branch protection rule for all branches. Star means all branches, and click on this require status check to pass before merging, and search for just runner, and here I am not able to see. Okay, now over here we can see that branch protection rules define whether collaborators can delete or force push to branch and set requirements for any pushes to the branch. Your GitHub free plan can only enforce rules on this public repository like this one. Okay, this was expected, but why I am not getting to see my runner over here? Okay, this runner is not coming. So I think something is wrong. So what we can try right now is we can again go to our master branch. Okay, we can go to master branch, and inside the test runner, okay, inside the builds, let us add one more name. I'll call this as jest runner. Okay, jest runners. I will add this commit, add job name, and I will merge this on master, and let us see if our commit is being deployed. Your branch isn't protected. Yeah, I know. I am about to set it. Add job name commit was added. Okay, we can see one runner is running over here for us. That is a good part. But if I come to pull request, and if I go to this part, if I refresh, and if I click on require status check before parsing, now if I just search for jest runner, you can see that jest runner is coming over here. Just select this and also click this part, require branches to be up to date before merging, and add a star over here and just hit create. Okay, this branch protection rule is now created. Now if I go to pull request, open this pull request, now you can see that it is saying this branch is out of date with the base branch because we merged something on master. So this branch was now outdated. So I have to click on this update branch. Okay, now this update branch is going to merge master into the evil branch. and it is again running the jest runner for us. Okay, and now right now you can see that the mergeable state is disabled. Okay, because we have added a branch protection rule. So what happened now in my system is that whenever anyone will create a pull request, that pull request will not be mergeable until and unless this jest runner is green. This is amazing stuff. Okay, so there is another stuff that I wanted to show. So you can see that this test was running and the coverage failed. Now we have to make this PR green. Okay, we have to make this PR green. How can we make this PR green? Green means that we have to make the coverage 100%. So we will go to evil branch. Since we have taken some code from master, just hit this cycle. This looks like event loop to me. I don't know why. So once we are synced, you just remove this line. Remove this line. Okay. And we have to obviously add a change. So let us just remove this empty line from over here and just commit this. Fixing tests. Okay, add a commit and just push this to the evil branch. Now let us go to evil branch. Over here we will see our commit coming. Fixing test. The test is now running. We will see this test in action. Starting job. So it is performing a yarn install with version 4.1.0. Okay. Then the fetch was completed. Now it is running the test. The coverage is 100%. And now the PR should be green. Now you can see the green tick over here. So let me close this. Let me close this. Let me close this as well. And see, now we can see that the PR is green to merge. So this ensured that any developer who is introducing a new feature should have a proper code coverage, and he should also not break existing test cases. So this way we have established a extreme good culture in our environment. We have set up the CDD approach, and you also got to learn how we can set up the test actions. Okay. So what we did, we just went to actions, okay, new workflow, and we created a simple Node.js action over here. Okay, this was a part of continuous integration. This also what we did just now also comes under DevOps, okay, under CI/CD pipelines. Then we created a Node.js YAML file for us, okay, and we learned what are the various configurations that we have to add to the runners. Okay, this is the name of the runner. Then we have to also add a name over here, and this is all done. Okay, and we also told this runner what commands it has to execute. This way we have set up the test environment along with the CDD approach, and trust me, this was a really great thing we have implemented. Okay, so why this is saying I think it should pass now. Yeah, this is all green. So this way we implemented great stuff, and I was really excited to cover this part. Now in the next modules we'll start working on the next major parts of this courses. So this was all in this particular lecture. See you guys in the next one.